The friendly summer resort town of Saugatuck, Michigan will come alive Saturday, August 13th, as throngs of fans and racers gather for the annual running of the Carl Challenge Cup Offshore Powerboat race on Lake Michigan. Starting at noon is the sixth race of the APBA National Circuit and third in the Michigan Series for the exciting new Weeks Trophy. It was here a year ago that world champion offshore driver Tony Garcia, at the wheel of the Arneson Borg-Warner Special, began his phenomenal record-setting string of 6 consecutive victories. The win was the first for Howard Arneson's surface-piercing propeller system. Currently in the process of building one of the experimental unlimited 50-foot monster boats, Garcia has not competed since his last victory at Cape Coral, Florida in May. A top contender for the Class 1 checkered flag this year is Michelob Light, driven by Tom Gentry of Honolulu, Hawaii, with Sammy James throttling. Gentry over the national point lead with his win 2 weeks ago in Wyandotte, Michigan. George Morales and throttleman Bob Adoni will campaign the 1980 world champion Fava. Morales set a U.S. course record in the 38-foot catamaran, averaging 94.764 miles per hour in Detroit in June, and followed that with the straightaway record set in World Time Trials at Wyandotte, where Fava sizzled across the measured kilometer at 116.557 miles per hour. Al Copeland, who set a world record 2 weeks ago, will be looking for his win of the season aboard Popeye's Pepsi Challenger, as will Jose Rodriguez in the collection and national champion Jerry Jacoby in his Fabergé-sponsored Super Brute. In Class 2, local favorite Butch Ryan of Grosse Isle, Michigan, and New Orleans racer Mike Drury bring their grudge match to Saugatuck from Wyandotte. In that offshore doubleheader, the two dueled in a split decision. In Saturday's national points race, Ryan's Express gave up the lead when a broken propeller forced the team to stop for repairs just 5 miles short of the finish, leaving Drury's Innovation to take the checkered flag. In Sunday's time trials, however, Express came out on top, claiming the American Powerboat Association record at 114.141 miles per hour. Unless Bob Shear loses his way to the finish line, the contest in Class 3 will be for second place. Shear's Terra holds a commanding lead in both national points for the class and, present, is the leading contender in all classes for the Great Lakes Championship with wins in Detroit and Wyandotte. Battling for the runner-up position will be national champion Sal Magluta in Seahawk, Joey Ratner in Ooh La La Sasson, and a host of local contenders including Bob Carrick in Cougar, Carl Gables' own Michael Johnson in Rage, Dave Fetter in Behaven, Craig Whitley in Miss Northport, Davy Jones in Express, and Casey Newson in The Hustler. A cat versus deep V battle has been shaping up in Class 4, where Peter Atkin holds the point lead in his cat, Black Duck. But hot in his wake is Gene Whip at the wheel of the Imperial Lakes. Close behind are Wyandotte winner John D'Elia in the Special Edition cat and John Carbonell aboard the Galleon Installer, a deep V. A couple of tri-hulls will be heard from as Al Schwenke and Detroit winner and U.S. course record holder Sonny Reeser put ST Enterprise Ed through the paces. Jeff Calabat's K&K Ghost will attempt to hold off Class 5 challengers from Gary Irwin, Dan Jenkins, and Sunkiss driver Charles Ring in Division B, while Tony Gallagher, Nicky Cutthroat, Bruce Nash, and Mike Combs thrash it out in Division A. Spectators will get an eyeful of action as race boats make several passes along the shoreline. Class 1 will run 1 long lap and 4 laps for a total of 190 statute miles, while Classes 2 through 5 will make 3 passes, 1 long lap and 2 short, to cover 106 miles. Next on the national circuit is the September 3rd running of the Northport 200, sponsored by Squirt. This fourth and final event in the Michigan Series will decide the Great Lakes champion. The season continues in New York City with the Chrysler Laser Classic 200 on September 24th and winds up in Newport Beach, California on October 16th with the Bud Warmington Grand Prix. World-class leaders in offshore racing will meet in Key West November 6th through 12th to decide world champions in 5 classes for 1983. The heartbeat of Carl Gables began 40 years ago. One man's quest, dream or vision, if you will. To some, much was accomplished. To him, much was left undone. Through it all, the spirit of his vision lives on in others, on to the place he dreamed of. In honor of his memory, this event is dedicated. Thomas A. Johnson, 1920 to 1979. One of the very special events to take place at the 3rd annual Carl Gables Challenge Cup was the christening of Al Copeland's Popeye's Pepsi Challenger, the new 50-foot entry into offshore powerboat racing. And this is how it looked, and this is what took place. Al, why did you choose to go with a 50-foot cat in open Class 1?
Well, we kind of feel that the 50-foot cat will bridge the waves a little better. I think we can run it a little harder in rougher water. And I think it'll be more competitive, or as competitive as any V-bottom will be in that kind of water. We hope so anyway. Besides that, we got 4 engines and 4 drives, and hopefully if one breaks, we can keep going. I don't know yet, though. And hopefully, again, if the other one breaks, providing it's on the opposite side, we'll keep going again. We'll see.
Bill, could you tell us more technically about the boat, the power plants, and the drive systems?
Yeah, this is a 50-foot aluminum boat. It's powered by 4 500 cubic inch Mercruiser engines with the new Mercruiser servicing stern drive. We went this route basically because obviously everybody is always looking for some kind of an edge. This class, we feel, gave us the opportunity to get that edge, at least for a couple more races until Howard's boat's done. But we feel that the boat is going to be a super competitive boat. We think it's a strong boat. The engines and drives, we think we've got worked out basically from our past races this year in our one-footer. And we really feel confident, and with a little bit of luck, I think we'll be in there.
During all the festivities, we had a chance to talk to Michael Johnson right before the race. Michael, you seem to be out there running. You're finishing races. What brought you into offshore powerboat racing?
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, it's the excitement. I was just telling Warren Reynolds. It's all this excitement. Have you ever seen, can you go anywhere and see this many people and have this many spectators? They're not clawing at me yet, but talking to you and wanting to meet you, and just, it's just exciting. It's an exciting sport.
Are you ready for the competition that you're going to have in modified class?
Boy, it's tough this year. I was so darn excited. I heard at the driver's meeting we only had 11 boats. That's the smallest field we've had all year, I think. Yeah, we're ready. We just got, my mechanic Paul just dropped the new motor in. And you're going to hear it back there. And it doesn't sound too good, just a little weak. But we just dropped the new motor in, and we're so darn excited about that. I think the competition thing, well, you know, we're planning on winning. I didn't tell you about that. This is something that Bill Sure and I have been talking about, and that is positive mental attitude.
Well, obviously, positive mental attitude has a great deal to do with offshore powerboat racing, but we sure appreciate everything Mike Johnson, Topper Johnson, and Bill Shaw did for us for this outstanding event. It's an event that was filled with parties, great atmosphere, and plenty of good racing, as we see here for the start of Offshore 1. The 3-minute flare is up, and we had entries from all over the country. Michelob Light, a 38-foot Cougar Cat with 2 650-horsepower KS&W engines. Fava, a 38-foot Cougar. Flapjack, a 38-foot Active Cat. Popeye's Pepsi Challenger, the new 50 Cougar Cat. Super Brute, a 37.5-foot Cigarette with Jerry Jacoby and crew in the US 1. And the Arneson Special, a 37-foot Cougar also. Top Banana, Stiletto, and the Collection, all part of this exciting Offshore 1 start. It's unbelievable to see the advanced lead that the Popeyes Pepsi Challenger had with its 4 700-horsepower MerCruiser engines. You can see the distance that they had on the rest of the fleet rounding checkpoint number 1. We returned back for the Offshore 2 start, which was a 106 statute mile course. We had Express, a 37-foot active cat, Innovation, a 36-foot Maelstrom, Power Play, a 34-foot Cougar, Seahawk, a 31-foot Seahawk, Miss Galline, King Sting, and American Spirit for the start of Offshore 2. Express is a 37-foot active cat with 2 700-horse engines and being pushed along with Arneson drives. Crew members today are Butch Ryan, Bruce Beatty, and Larry Fuck. Innovation is a 36-foot Maelstrom with 3 300-horsepower Mercury outboards with Mike Jury and Lee Adams. Power Play with Dominic Santorelli and Huebner is a 30-foot Cougar with 2 600-horsepower Rahili Grady engines. Seahawk is a 31-foot Seahawk with 2 550-horsepower KS&W engines with crew members William, Gus Falcon, and Frank Basavi. Jerry Burton had them all lined up in the Manhattan Express for the start, and they're off. And immediately into the lead goes Innovation with Mike Jury and Lee Adams. As Offshore 2 got underway, we find Fava Shoes, who started with the Offshore 2 pack, almost 5 minutes behind the rest of the Offshore 1 contenders. We came around for the start of Offshore 3, which also is a course of 106 statute miles. We had entries from all over the United States again, with Cougar with Robert Carrick and Robert Carrick Jr., Sheer Terror with Bob Shear and Gary Jeffries, Seahawk with Sal Magluta, Armando Riviero, and Ralph Laniero, Still Crazy with Dick Fulham and Steve Stepp, The Hustler, Miss Maxim, Ooh La La Sass, the Carl Gables Rage, Miss Northport, and Erickson Racing, along with Chase, for one of the largest Offshore 3 fleets of the year. As many said, this was going to be a cat race, but here's one deep V that was right up there with the start. It's Sal Magluta in his 31-foot Seahawk with 2 500-horsepower KS&W engines. Sal holds the prestigious honor of National High Point Leader for 1982 with the M1 designation on his hull. We're ready for the start of Offshore 4, which again is another 106 statute mile course, with Mike Duff, 1982 National High Point champion, with P1 on his hull, who goes out to a lead right from the start, with contenders Bandit, the ST Enterprise, both of the new Triton hulls, and Town & Country, a 30-foot Shadow Cat, Continental Eagle, a 30-foot Formula, Galleon Installer, a 34-foot Coyote, and Imperial Lakes, a 30-foot Velocity. Offshore 4 headed for checkpoints 1 and 2. We continued up the course towards checkpoint 3. As we looked around from checkpoint 3, we on Popeyes Pepsi Challenger, the new 50-foot Cougar Cat with Al Copeland, Bill Saroy, Stan Ware, and Angelo Mealy. At this point in the race, the Popeyes Pepsi Challenger was doing 120 miles an hour on its way to checkpoints 7 and 8. It got a little bit difficult to keep up with Al for this portion of the race, so we had to shoot from behind. We'll let you be the judge on how well this boat runs and what it's going to do for offshore powerboat racing as you watch the Popeyes Pepsi Challenger. As Al and his crew rounded checkpoint 7 and 8, you could see in the distance how far he was the balance of the Offshore 1 contenders. As he comes down the slot towards the start-finish line for lap number 1, an incredible 99.79 miles an hour was accomplished for the first lap. As we flew back down the course to see what was happening with the rest of the Offshore 1 contenders, we picked up Michelob Light in 4th place, Flapjack in 3rd place. Michelob Light is a 38-foot Cougar cat, and Flapjack is a 38-foot active cat. Flapjack with Howard Quam and Dan Becker. Flapjack is using two 650 horsepower Mercruiser engines. The Arneson Special with Tony Garcia and Keith Hazel is a 37-foot Cougar with two 700 horsepower Brahilly Grady's and pushed by Arneson drives. Flapjack still in 3rd place behind Arneson in 2nd and Michelob Light in 4th on the completion of the first lap, rounding checkpoints 1 and 2 for their 2nd offshore leg. As our Offshore 1 contenders rounded checkpoint 1 and 2 for their 2nd lap, we take a good look at part of the spectator fleet involved in the offshore powerboat race in Saugatuck. But as we flew along, we did find Popeye's Pepsi Challenger with a mechanical problem between checkpoint 1 and 2 and 3. Coming up fast from the rear was Fava Shoes. He had just passed Michelob Light and was well on his way to catch Flapjack. At this point in the race, he was doing 105 miles an hour. I'm sure if Howard Quam and Flapjack had a rear-view mirror, he would have never believed what he saw when Fava Shoes came up from behind and passed him, rounding checkpoint 7 and 8. Fava Shoes is a 38-foot Cougar with two 700-hour Mercruiser engines and the new Mercury surface drives. George Morales and Bob Adoni had an average course speed for the day of 90.64 miles per hour. George Morales in Fava Shoes also holds the prestigious American Powerboat Association measured kilometer straightaway U.S. record of 116.557 miles per hour. Obviously, this boat was well tuned for today's event. Starting with a 5-minute disadvantage from the Offshore 1 start, continued on his 100 miles per hour speed at this point in the race. As we flew along between checkpoint 3 to 7 and 8, we found Michelob Light now in 4th place, with Flapjack in 3rd, Faye in 2nd place, and up front was Arneson in 1st place. Our first place leader between 7 and 8 and checkpoints 4 and 5 was the Arneson Special, a 37-foot cougar with two 700-horsepower Rahilly Grady and Arneson drives. Tony Garcia and Keith Hazel spent most of the evening before the race getting this boat ready for today's Carl Gables Challenge Cup. As we continued onward from checkpoint 3, we found Popeyes on its way again after some minor repairs to stay in contention for the race. We came up on Innovation and Favor Shoes on the outside. The Innovation is a 36-foot Maelstrom with three 300-horsepower Mercury outboards. Mike Jury and Lee Adams, both from New Orleans, finished the day with an outstanding speed of 91.23, but right behind them was Express, with Butch Ryan, Bruce Beatty, and Larry Boat. The Express is a 37-foot active cat with 200-horsepower Chevy engines and Arneson drives. Both the Innovation and Express were averaging well over 85 miles an hour as we tracked them between checkpoints 7 and 8 and 4 and 5. As we rounded checkpoints 1 and 2 for the last short lap for Offshore 1, we found Flapjack in 3rd place, Fava in 2nd, and Arneson Special in 1st. We came up on one of our Offshore 3 contenders, the Hustler. The Hustler is from Grand Rapids, Michigan, with Gary Newsom, Rich Ponstein, and Tom Beckering. It's a 32-foot Maverick with 2 Chevy inboards, developing 1,100 horsepower. Right behind the Hustler was our Pro Stock leader, Peter Atkin and Tom McCurry from South Norwalk, Connecticut, in the Black Duck. The Black Duck is one of the 3 Shadow Cats in Offshore 4 for today. It's a 30-foot cat with 3 240-horsepower Mercury outboards. Peter's average speed for the day was 80.49 miles per hour. Right behind Black Duck, not more than a couple of 100 feet, was the Bandit with Sonny Reeser and Craig Mosley from Dallas, Texas. The Bandit is a 30-foot Triton with 3 240-horsepower Mercury outboards. The Bandit's average speed for the day was 80.30 miles per hour. Obviously, the Triton hull is proving itself in offshore waters. Here we come up on Miss Maxon in our Offshore 3 class. Maxon finished in impressive 6th place for the day. It's a 33-foot Suffin with 2 Chevy inboards. Tim, Richard, and Mike were doing an outstanding job in Offshore 3 for the day. This wasn't their type of water for a deep V, but obviously they're great contenders in the Offshore 3 class. We move back down the course to find some of our Offshore 5 contenders, and in 5A we find Taboo, a 22-foot Velocity with 1 Evinrude 260-horsepower outboard. Walter Beasley and Bruce Nash from Boynton Beach, Florida were having a great time out there with Night Moves, which is a 23-foot Checkmate with 1 Mercury outboard. Mike Combs and Mark Schnell did a super job for the day in Offshore 5. And here's Magnum Force in Offshore 5B, a 32-foot Baja with Dwayne Oley from Huron, Ohio. As we started to round checkpoint 1 and 2, we found Power Play Express fighting for the lead. Here we watch Power Play taking the inside of the turn. Power Play with Dan Weinstein, Dominic Santarelli, and Pete Eubner are using a 34-foot Cougar with two 600-horsepower Healy Grady engines. Dan's average speed for the day was an impressive 91.10 miles per hour. All our top 3 finishers in Offshore 2 all averaged over 91 miles per hour for the day. Here's Miss Gallowine, a 32-foot active cat with Lou Cooper, Harold Stepp, and Dennis Pastor. Lou experienced some mechanical difficulties and was unable to finish the race for the day. But while we were tracking him here, he was doing an impressive 88 miles per hour. Seahawk, a 31-foot Seahawk Deep V with two 550-horsepower KS&W engines, with crew members on board today, Willie Falcon, Gus Falcon, and Frank Pesadra. The Seahawk Deep V in Offshore 2 Sport class finished with an average speed of 81.23 miles per hour for the Coral Gables Challenge Cup. Leader in Offshore 3 was the Cougar. The Cougar is a 32-foot active cat with two 500-horsepower Chevy engines. Robert Carrick Sr. and Robert Carrick Jr., all from New Baltimore, Michigan, had an average course speed for the day of 84.31 miles per hour. Less than a half mile behind Cougar was Sheer Terror in second place. Sheer Terror is a 30-foot flight marine with two 500-horsepower Hazel engines and Arneson drives. Bob Shear and Gary Jeffries turned in an impressive 80.46 miles per hour for the Coral Gables Challenge Cup. Right behind Sheer Terror in third place was Seahawk, M1, National High Point leader for 1982, with Sal Magluta, Armando Riviero, and Ralph Lanero. The Seahawk is a 31-foot Seahawk Deep V hull with two 500-horsepower KS&W engines. Their average speed for the day was 80.18 miles per hour as compared to Sheer Terror's 80.46 miles per hour. A very interesting comparison between a Deep V hull and a catamaran. With only a mile to go and the finish line well within view, Express with Butch Ryan finally decides to take the lead and take it all in Offshore 2. It seems as though he just passed innovation without even trying. As Express heads in for their checkered flag, we come up on the Super Brute, a 37.5-foot cigarette with two 700-horsepower Hawk Marine engines. Jerry Jacoby and Wayne Vicker had an impressive average speed for the day in a DP of 76.48 miles per hour. Jerry holds the prestigious honor of US 1 for the National High Points of 1982. Super Brute finished 5th in Offshore 1 for the 3rd annual Carl Gables Challenge Cup.
This is a Class 3 winner.
As Michelob Light and Fava Shoes finished first, second in Offshore 1, we returned dockside to see what was going on there and found the Express team finding out from the power play team why they passed in the inside. And then we took a look at Cougar, their first win for the year in Offshore 3. And then we had a chance to talk with Peter Atkin of Black Duck, our winner in Offshore 4. Peter, Offshore 4, and you did it again. How many does it make?
Well, this year, this is our 4th national win of the 6 races on the circuit, so we're very happy. We're thrilled to finally win again in Michigan. We've been having a little trouble in Michigan this year.
What do you think of the Carl Gables race? It seems like the people here are incredibly delighted with what's happened. How do you feel as a racer about coming here to Saugatuck?
This is one of my favorite races, if not the favorite. It's a beautiful little community. Everything is convenient, close in. The people are great. It's just fantastic. The spectators are enthusiastic. It's great racing out on the lake, and we just love this little community. I love to come here. I'd come here if there wasn't a race.
Tell me, Peter, we understand that your boat is totally Mercury equipped. How did it perform for you?
I tell you, the motors never missed a beat today. We've been getting great help from Mercury this year, their high performance division, the people down at Lake X in Florida, and the motors just never missed a beat today. They ran perfect, and we had to run them hard. We were being pushed by Sonny Reeser and the Bandit, so we were pushing today, and still they held up beautiful. And I'd just like to thank people like Rick Lamore and Armin Wiegert and Don Schwebs down at Lake X, and Mark Vire and all the guys at the high performance. They're doing a heck of a job for us.
And this is how Butch Ryan felt about his win. For a birthday present, I guess you couldn't ask for more than what you got today. Butch, how do you feel?
Tops the weekend. It feels super. Really, really good.
This puts you ahead in national high point standings at the moment, but a great deal of this has to come from the technology you've developed in the boat. Can you tell us a little about the hull and the type of power plants you're using?
It's a 37-foot active catamaran made out of graphite and Kevlar. Boat's second year in the hull. Power plants are engines we built and designed. They're turbocharged. They call them small, big block Chevrolets. We've got a year and a half of research in them, and they work now. We've run 5 races on these same motors, and they're virtually indestructible.
adjust the valves, change oil, and that's all we do to it. It's a dynamite package.
Well, a very happy victor, of course, for the 4th time in 1983. Here is Tom Gentry from Hawaii. Tom, I don't know how you did it going from 4th place to 1st and having that checkered flag. Is it a surprise to you?
Well, yeah, but we just, that was a fast race. We just set it right on the peg and tried to outlast them. I think it worked all right.
Well, you know, that Popeye's chicken really showed them the short way around the course at first.
Oh, yeah, there's some fast boats out there, no question about it, but it's 180 miles, so we worked out all right.
So it's endurance. Let's see if we can get the throttle man over here. Walk this way with the camera. Here's the guy at the throttles, and he is the leading throttle man on the APBA Offshore Class 1 Open Circuit.
Steer that right there, Dave.
Forget the boat for just a second. You spent 180.
won.
I know this baby won, but 180 miles you've been with it. Now talk to this baby called the microphone. The winning throttle man, Sammy James from LaBelle, Florida. Sammy, was there ever a time that you thought you were not in it?
Well, there was just some voice kept telling me put it on 100 and we'd win, so we held it right at 100 all day long, and we won. I don't know if it was God or who, but somebody did it right for us.
Well, it was cat weather.
Well, it really was, and it was a good race, and we're glad to be here.
Okay, that is 3 straight wins for the Michelob Light. And, of course, the Arneson outdrives. Howard Arneson, come on aboard if you can, if you will. Step over here. Here's the man who designs the outdrives as he makes his way back, and his boat was leading with about a lap to go in the Arneson Special, but his Arneson outdrives helped this boat win. Howard, you got to be happy, at least in one respect.
You know, this was a family affair. Before the race, I said, I hope they finish 1-2, and I don't care what rotation they come in. We almost made it that way.
Well, it was very, very close.
It was great. You know I'm excited. You can tell that.
Well, it's been an exciting day. Tom Gentry, the driver, the designer of the outdrives, Howard Arneson, and, of course, the man down here taking care of his baby is the throttle man and chief mechanic and co-driver Sammy James. This is Jim Hendrick in Saugatuck, Michigan.
And this is what Motor Week Illustrated had to say about the 3rd annual Carl Gables Challenge Cup.
Rapid Rookie shines in IndyCar racing. A great Grand Prix battle in Austria. And the Goliath of offshore racing debuts in Michigan. All this and more today on television's fastest half hour. There is a revolution underway in American Powerboat Association offshore racing. It started last weekend at the Coral Gables Challenge Cup in Saugatuck, Michigan. The current crop of open class boats are in the 30 to 40 foot range, so this christening created a real stir. Al Copeland's 50-foot aluminum catamaran is a Goliath compared to its adversaries. Offshore rules allow unlimited engines in any boat over 45 foot, so Copeland stuffed in 4 Mercuries, developing, get this, 2,800 horsepower. This beast will run 120 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour faster than its nearest rival. The cost of the Popeye's Fried Chicken sponsored monster, a cool $250,000. Here you see how the Popeye dwarfs the competition and how it out-accelerates them. On paper, there's nothing in the new boat's league. On the water, first race mechanical bugs cost Copeland the win after an impressive maiden voyage. In the early going, Copeland and throttle man Bill Steroy left everybody behind, including our camera helicopter, which overheated trying to keep up. But halfway through this 190-miler, a drivetrain problem forced Copeland to slow. Into the lead swept defending world champion Tony Garcia. After missing the last 3 races for want of a boat, Garcia also had mechanical problems with his Arneson Special. And that opened the door for Tom Gentry, who thus inherited his 3rd straight offshore win. Gentry averaged over 93 miles an hour. Copeland's new superboat limped home 4th. On his birthday, modified class winner Bob Carrig and son Bob Jr. in the shorts won their first offshore race ever. What's more, they averaged a world record, 84 miles an hour, to beat Bobby Shear, a 4-time winner this season. Now let's go to the home stretch in this class, and another birthday boy, Butch Ryan, streaks to victory. He beat Mike Drury, who was subsequently disqualified for equipment violations. Drury appealed, the results provisional. And pro stock point leader Pete Aitken upped his series point lead. That's his 4th win of the year. In offshore competition, the driver of record gets all the glory, while the throttle man, in boat racing vernacular, makes it go. Despite a driver change, Sunday's victor, the Michelob Light, has won 7 of 10 races and the World Championship over the past 2 seasons. Throttle man Sammy James is the common denominator, on board for each of those wins and handling the boat's pre-race preparation. Because the throttle jockey is too often the forgotten man, this week's Sasson Behind the Scenes Award goes to 25-year veteran James. He'll get a new jeans and shirt set from Sasson. I'm Dave Despain. See you next week.
Some production assistance furnished by Sasson.
Sasson, today's fashions for tomorrow's winners.
Motor Week Illustrated was brought to you by Firestone Tire, where we're building radial tires street legal, competition tough, and proving it every week in the nation's toughest motorsports action. Firestone, the word's getting around. And by Dodge, with a full line of front-wheel drive cars, including the sporty Dodge 400 convertible, the Dodge 600 ES Sport Sedan, and the exciting new Dodge Shelby Charger. Dodge, America's driving machines.